Okay, well, good afternoon. Over the last day and a half, we have had the opportunity to cover many issues. On the first broad-based Chile Day in London after the pause caused by COVID-19. And I think it's been great to be joining you in reinforcing or relaunching this process that is so important for the Chilean economy, for Chilean business opportunities, and we hope also for investors that are interested in investing in Chile. As usual, we acknowledge the very important role and leadership of InBest Chile that has been pursuing on this venture for more than 10 years, and I would really like to praise them for their ability to organize this event. It's not easy to do that from away from our home. So I think it's fair to acknowledge their great contribution to making this event possible. Similarly, HSBC has been sponsoring Chile Day for many years, this time again, and as usual, they have provided us with a lot of support on the networking and substantial discussions on this meeting. I would like to thank all the guests that have participated, the governor of the Central Bank of Chile, the staff of the Central Bank, Chilean members of parliament that joined us this time again, the economic authorities, the director, board members of the Financial Markets Commission, the Superintendency of Pensions, the private sector representatives, the HM Treasury that joined us yesterday and with whom we signed an MOU this morning, and overall the investors and analysts that have participated in the different sessions alongside the panelists. I think it's been a very rich meeting where we have covered such a wide range of issues as going from a constitutional process to pension reform, to women in finance, fiscal reform, venture capital, the green finance, and so on. I think that in all these panels there has been a very rich discussion, and I think it's pretty telling that we are ending this event very much at the same time that in Chile political leaders reached this agreement for a new constitutional process that will address many of the difficulties that were faced before, and that created a lot of uncertainty on the result of the constitutional process at that time. I think that over the last 3 years we have dealt with the issue of uncertainty. We have not been alone on that in the world. Of course, there are many sources of uncertainty these days, but one thing that one could expect is to make sure that our own sources of uncertainty are properly dealt with, and I believe that we have to praise all actors that contributed to agree on a new constitutional process 3 months after the referendum that rejected the previous proposal. I think that I guess that many of you have already looked into this, into the terms of this agreement, but basically I think it takes care of 3 factors that proved in the previous process to be very critical. First of all, to have clear rules of the game stated well before the active process starts. Secondly, having a mechanism to elect members to the constitutional body that are representative of the people, but also that are able to collaborate with each other in putting together the best constitutional proposal. And thirdly, to having a system of checks and balances that ensure that the final product or the final result as a constitutional proposal is sufficiently articulated, integrated, and consistent, so that it can provide a clear view and a clear framework for the years to come for our institutional development. So I'm very glad that, this happened exactly at the time when we are meeting, and many of you asked about the constitutional process. There was a panel yesterday on the subject, and it's great to be able to report on progress on that in the course of this Chile Day. So I thank you all for participating in this event, the organizers again. And the most important thing is to look forward to our next meeting this year. I said yesterday that the good thing about Chile Day London is that you have the chance of comparing what you were saying last time to what you're seeing today, and probably create the expectation of what we will discuss next year. I'm sure that there will be a lot of progress to report on the institutional, the macro, and the productive side. I hope that many of the issues that we have discussed with investors are translated into investment decisions, into the development of projects that contribute to the development of the country. So I really look forward to seeing many of you here. I don't know exactly in what position I will be at that time, but given that I have attended the last 4 Chile Day London meetings, I guess that we can all look forward to a meeting again next year. So thank you all for attending, for your contribution, and take care.
Well, finally, again, just to mention that it has been our great honor to organize this Chile Day, and I am sure that next year it will be even better. Finally, I just want to remind you that you are all invited to a networking event, a lunch in the Foreign Office. And before leaving, I would like to invite you all to our traditional official picture, which is going to be taken from that angle. So I invite you all to come to this way so we can take our final picture.